After we're all done eating, Darren and Hardrick both get ready to begin round 2 of their battle like they said they would. However, just as they are about to start, a new spectator suddenly joins us, is probably Rose, teleporting right next to our group while acting as casually and nonchalantly as we have come to expect from him by now. Oh, it's Aiden. What's the matter? Aiden asks. Why does he keep his eyes closed? I think it's supposed to be like a symbolism that he has like turned away from the world. He can actually see. He just does it to he is too tired of seeing all the wrongs that people have committed, sort of thing. It's kind of monk-y, but okay. With his eyes closed, as always, after we all stare at him for a few seconds without saying anything. There is no need to stop the fight on my account. By all means, please continue. Aiden again, Darren says when he sighs. I see that you're still walking around with your eyes closed, dressed in pajamas as if you have just gotten out of bed. Some things never really change, do they? These aren't pajamas, Aiden says. They're high quality fabric made from the finest silks. They used to be quite popular 600 years ago. Melindra, I'm surprised that you have traveled so long with them. You haven't told them this by now. Melindra says as she crosses her arms and turns her face away from him with a pout. I'm not talking to you. Now, is that any way to treat an old friend? Aiden says as he walks closer to her. You're not my friend, Melindra says. Friends don't ignore each other in their time of need. You even went as far as casting a silencing spell on me in the Thelius arena and making me look like an idiot when I was talking to you. Don't think I'll forget that. You won't ever forget it, Aiden says with a smile. Not even if I give you this rare stone that I found during my recent travels. He then takes the stone out of his pocket and shows it to Melindra, and even though she's trying hard not to let her true feelings show, it's clear that she's very tempted by it. Even for a collector such as yourself, a rock like this must be pretty hard to find nowadays, Aiden says. What is it that you used to call these types of rocks again? Daitra Denga, a Dedra stone, Flower and I say at the same time without thinking. Yes, a Dedra stone, Aiden says, looking both surprised and impressed by our answer. He then takes a look towards me and Flower, then another look towards Kate, who has been watching his every move, was readying a few icicles ever since he began walking closer to Melindra. Congratulations, Melindra, Aiden says. It looks like you've made some good friends while I was away. I'll take the stone, Melindra says as she quickly grabs the rock from his hand while looking slightly embarrassed. But I'll consider it as a form of apology, but don't think that you're off the hook just yet. Of course, Aiden says with his usual polite smile. So would you mind telling us the reason for your visit, or do you expect us to guess? Eluna says. All in good time, Eluna of the Sacred Woods Massacre, Aiden says. But first, I would like to ask a slightly unrelated question. Wasn't there supposed to be a white mage in your group? Whatever happened to Darren? You know, dark-skinned fellow, very tall, wears armor all the time. I'm right here, jackass, Darren says. Don't act like you don't see me. My good sir, you must be mistaken, Aiden says. Aside from your obvious lack of heavy armor, the Darren I know would have tried to kill me with the first opportunity, or at the very least, he would look at me as if he were ready to slit my throat at any given moment. I do not remember having had any other conversation with you since the last time I saw you, so what has changed exactly? That's right, you don't remember, Darren says in a thoughtful voice. You would have no way of remembering, in fact. Wait, what does this mean? Oh, right. I forgot about this. So, when the God of Time started his, what's it called? The trials? His trial was to let things play. Obviously, everyone's trial was to let things play out the way they played out. But he just couldn't. He just couldn't do it. He just couldn't stand there and was Rose. Was it? Who was it? Oh, the girl. Yeah, who's over the random slave girl get killed. He just couldn't watch it. So he tried again and again and again. And he also had to make sure that his aura was not fluctuating, because as soon as his event was far more difficult because Aiden was present in his event. So every time his aura fluctuated, even the slightest bit, Aiden of that realm would realize that he is like someone else, like he's from the future, he's a part of Selkram's thing. And he would immediately, like, I think it was like he either killed him or something like that. He would give him the power to kill and save the girl, and he kept doing it over and over and over and over again. He, like, I think his trial or Hodrick's trial was the one. We don't know much about Hodrick's trial. We do know about Hodrick's trial, but I don't think his trial even took that long. Darren's trial, I think, was the longest to finish, because first he couldn't let go of the girl, and second of all, well, Aiden was there, so he would immediately pick up any aura changes. So he had basically had to go through a training to stop his aura from changing. And that's why he has mellowed out towards Aiden as he slowly realized what he's like. That's why he says, ignore that to unpin the screen, swipe and hold. I don't know why he's doing that. Let's just say, that's right, you don't remember, Eren says in a thoughtful voice. You would have no way of remembering, in fact. I beg your pardon, Aiden says. Let's just say that a different version of yourself from another world has given me a helping hand when I was at my lowest point, Eren says. And because of that, I'm willing to take a somewhat more lenient attitude towards you at the very least for the time being. You're talking about the God of Time's trials, Aiden asks in a more serious tone than usual. Yes, Darren answers simply. I see, Aiden says as he spends a few seconds in quiet contemplation before he speaks again. In that case, I should probably give you a warning. This may sound obvious to you, but that Aiden and I are not the same person. We do not share the same memories, and based on how old that version of me was, he may have had a completely different outlook on life than the one I have now. I do not know what he said to you or how far you've been sent into the past, but you should not make the mistake of thinking that anything you've discussed in that trial applies to this world. Believing otherwise will likely only set you up for disappointment. Don't worry, Darren says, I'm not planning to make that mistake. Very well, Aiden says, now that we have got that settled, perhaps it's time to change the topic of conversation to one of the two main subjects that I've come here to talk to you about. First of all, let us discuss Olander. Tell me, Barry, what do you think about their new king? I think it was the least bad choice available at the time. Olander was the one that we just did. What do you think of the new king? I think he was the least bad choice available at the time. Oh, Aiden says while raising an eyebrow. I was under the impression that your group had quite the influence in choosing Olander's next leader. Am I to understand that the only reason why you chose to give the current king your support was because he was, in your opinion, the least bad choice available? Yeah, I guess so, I say while shrugging. I see it, and says he's probably gonna get into like, oh, you didn't save the people, and we're gonna get pissed or something. After saying this, we both remain silent for about 5 seconds or so until I finally decide that I should probably be the one to continue our conversation. So is this all you wanted to ask then? I tell Aiden. Yes, Aiden says, regarding this topic at least. What about the second topic that you wanted to discuss with us? Kate says, while frowning. It's funny that you should ask this question, Kate of the Beacon of Hope, Aiden says. While the next subject of conversation probably concerns you the most out of the whole group, the truth of the matter is that I was getting bored waiting for you all to reach your next destination. I came here in hopes that I could perhaps ask you to hurry it up a bit, since your next encounter very much concerns me as much as you. What are you talking about? Kate says. Why would our next destination concern both you and me? You mean you don't know where you're going? Aiden asks, looking rather shocked. He then turns towards Melindra, who is looking very stressed out right now. Melindra, you haven't told them? Aiden says, I was going to tell them. Melindra says, I was just waiting for the right time, that's all. And there's no time like the present, wouldn't you say? Aiden tells her. Melindra, what's going on? Kate asks, who is this person that you are taking us to, and what does any of this have to do with me? It's, Kate, first of all, I need you to remain calm, Melindra says, looking as if she was on the verge of panicking herself. Can you promise me that? Okay, Kate says, I promise. Alright, Melindra says, so the first thing that I need to mention is that when you and I first met, I honestly had no knowledge of anything relating to artificial mages or the Beacon of Hope. I only found out about these things much later when I heard you guys talking about them. Fair enough, Kate says, but why are you telling me this all of a sudden? It's because Melindra says, you see, the person that I wanted you to meet, my acquaintance, who has the pine cone detector, is in fact, it's Melindra, Aiden says, seeing that Melindra can't bring herself to say the word. She's leading you to, it's Meredith, oh, not Melindra. She's leading you to Meredith. Meredith? Who's Meredith? That sounds like a name we have heard before, but at the same time, I don't remember her at all. What was the girl's name who was like using electricity that Kate is like a friend of? Her name is not Meredith, is it? No, I think her name was shorter. I'm completely blanking out on this.